The first thing I can tell you about this batch of 34 interview transcripts is that the vast majority of the witnesses answered the vast majority of questions by just saying one word, fifth, or otherwise invoking their Fifth Amendment rights, their Fifth Amendment rights against self-incrimination. They invoked the Fifth Amendment so much that there were quite a few moments of sort of unintentional hilarity in these interviews. Longtime Trump ally Roger Stone, for example, pled the Fifth when he was asked how old he was. That would incriminate you? Also, his address. Arizona Republican Chair Kelly Ward pled the Fifth when she was asked if she had a Twitter handle. Trump lawyer Jenna Ellis was asked if she attended a November 2020 press conference with fellow Trump lawyer Sidney Powell. Jenna Ellis is right there. She pled the Fifth to that question as to whether she was there. This is literally video of her standing over Sidney Powell's shoulder for the whole of that press conference. I don't know where to put this one, but pro-Trump conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, who was recently ordered to pay over $1 billion in defamation suits, he claimed to be so stressed out during his interview that he could not spell his own name for the people who were asking him questions. I'm so stressed out, I can't even spell it for you. Then his lawyer attempted to spell out his middle name for the investigators, and he spelled it wrong. And then Alex Jones attempted to spell it, and he also spelled it wrong. So there's that. But witnesses also pled the Fifth to some substantive things, some interesting things that may give us a bit of insight into what the investigators know and what they might have been after in asking these questions. That Trump lawyer, Jenna Ellis, also pled the Fifth when she was asked about hundreds of text messages she allegedly exchanged with President Trump's chief of staff and why she hadn't turned those over to investigators as she was required to by subpoena. On fake Trump electors, the Republicans in swing states won by Joe Biden, who pretended that Trump had won their states and tried to pass themselves off fraudulently as if they were real electors. Those electors were grilled by investigators on who came up with the fake elector scheme in the first place and whether they were told about the plan before the election. They were also asked about who funded their activities. There's a number of questions in these transcripts about funding, particularly about funding for busloads of Trump supporters to be transported to Washington for the January 6th events. Everybody pled the Fifth to these questions about funding.